Good afternoon. A little bit of Charlie Foxtrot up here, but it's good to be old. I know paper and pencil, so it's going to be good, you guys. Okay, so we'll start out. I'm Marilyn Dondero-Loop, and I'll be chairing Senate Interim Finance Committee today. Would you please call the roll?
Assemblymember Anderson. Assemblymember Backus. Assemblymember Brown-May. Assemblymember Dickman. Assemblymember Haven. Assemblymember Hibbets. Assemblymember Howdegi. Assemblymember Koenig. Assemblymember Mosca. Assemblymember O'Neill. Assemblymember Torres Fawcett. Assemblymember Watts. Assemblymember Yeager. Vice Chairman Moreno. Senator Buck. Senator Cannizzaro. Senator Wynn. Senator Scheibel. Senator Stone. Senator Taylor. Senator Titus. Chair Dondero-Loop.
And I am here. Thank you very much. And I think everyone is here. So thank you very much for that. We will start out with public comment. We do not have Las Vegas, and we do not have online public comment. So we will go here to Carson City. Is there anyone here in Carson City that would like to make public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will go right to our work program revision. And this is with the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We'll call the Division of Forestry, and we'll call Casey up. And thank you very much for being here today and waiting for us. And please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Casey for the record, State Forester Firewarden. Thank you all for being here today. I'm not here to ask for money. I'm here to ask for authority shift to actually spend the money I've brought in. So it's a little different than what you're usually used to seeing me for. And that was about my whole speech. So this work program is requesting an increase in revenue authority as we have over-collected the budgeted amount. And this would allow us to utilize the cash that has come in to pay bills still outstanding for fire suppression. And for those of you who didn't hear me earlier, I don't remember, I think it was late last week actually, I'll give you the rundown. Since October of 2024, when our system had the ability to bill, we have invoiced about $38 million for reimbursements. Of that, we have received about $23.1 million in revenues. We have $16.1 million as of today, ready to be invoiced, and we have $19.3 left to pay in bills as of today, changing every day. But with that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? Assemblymember Watts.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that update. Do you have any update on the timeline for? So it sounds like there's still 16.1 million that needs in invoices that need to go out the door. Do you have any updates on that?
Thank you for the question. Again, for the record, Casey, we did just hire the leader position. She started this week on Monday. So now we are fully staffed back to the 6 that should be there. We have shifted. We will be shifting those 6 staff. Some are still working on invoices. However, most are going to be working on paying bills at this point. It's not a small number of any of these things sitting on the shelf. We have about 224 invoices and some number of bills to be paid. So they're just kind of migrating between the two. So it will go out. They will go out. I don't know exactly when. And some of those also can't go out yet until we pay the bills. Some of them are for fires like the Davis fire. We can't actually send any of the, well, those also won't be reimbursable probably, but we can't even wrap that up until we've paid all those bills. So some of them are still waiting for all the bills to be paid.
Thank you very much. And just as a follow-up on that, do you how do you anticipate funding any additional fire incident response costs? Can you give us a little bit more information on that that might exceed those amounts in AB 561?
Thank you for the question. Again, for the record, Casey. Historically, how it's happened is we've pushed anything that happens between now and then that can't be funded. This does include some amount of authority for upcoming fire expenses based on a 5-year average of expenditures at this time. If it's over that, those expenditures will likely be pushed into the next year, and we'll separate those in and out of state in the 2 budget accounts as we go forward.
Okay, additional comments or questions on this item? All right, if not, I will ask for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I move to approve.
Second. Thank you very much from Assemblymember Monroe Moreno, second from Senator Wynn. Any more discussion on this motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much for being here with us today, and congratulations on being fully staffed. Thank you for today. Everything's a daily item around here. All right, with that, we will move on to item D, Department of Business and Industry, and we'll welcome Mr. Acroft and Ms. Hess. Thank you.
Pardon me. Good afternoon, Chair Dundera Loop, Vice Chair Monroe Moreno, and members of the Interim Finance Committee. I'm Steve Acroft, the Administrator of the Nevada Housing Division, and with me today is Christine Hess. Hopefully this is, it's not showing. Gosh. Okay.
Well, we'll have to listen, like all good students.
We've got IT support here.
We do have IT helping you at the back end there.
Take control.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Thank you. Oh, shit.
Oh,
Awesome.
magic.
Thank you very much. Steve Acroft, Administrator of the Nevada Housing Division. For the record, with me is our Chief Financial Officer, Christine Hess. And we're here at every IFC, as you all know. And typically, we are at the very end of a very long agenda. So today, we are going to take this opportunity to present what we were going to present on the June 18th IFC and give you an update and do a little show and tell. So sit back and enjoy, and we will work through the new development projects that the division is overseeing.
We're here for you. We're all ready for you.
We appreciate that. So the first pages of your presentation are some maps of where these new development projects are located. First, Reno and Carson, and then down in the Las Vegas Valley. This is basically going to show you we are at, when this presentation was designed, we were at a 42% spend rate with our IFC Homings Nevada funds. And so the idea here is to kind of show you exactly where we're at with 42%. And Christine will give an update on the current financial status of the Homings Nevada initiative as we work through. So this is the first project we're going to talk about, and this is Sierra Flats Phase 2. This is the second part of and you'll see this repeated in a couple spots. If you look way in the distance on this, before the mountains, but at the end of the straight road, that's phase 1 of Sierra Flats. Phase 2 was creating an additional 80 units. So ultimately, we'll have 160 units of affordable housing between a combined 9% and 4% program in this particular space. And this is in Carson City, and you can see it if you leave here and go to Fairview and go up 580 before you get to Highway 50 over on your right-hand side. You'll see these under construction. The second project is Vintage at Redfield. And this is right next to Sam's Club in Reno. So if you have some idea where that is. And this is 223 units of senior residential housing. Some of these I'm going to blow through fairly quickly. Some of these I will talk about some of the specifics and some of the kind of unique features. This is Buffalo and Cactus. This is an Ovation project, 125 units down in the southwest Las Vegas Valley. This is Eagles Landing 2 and 4. Again, this is combined just to the left-hand side of the picture where the two, I don't know what they're called, but not cranes, because the cranes are in the background, but the little man lifts. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is behind there, and that's on Roop Street. So if you leave here and you go to the Walmart on the north side of town, you'll pass right by this, so it may be very familiar to many of you. And when this is combined with phase 1, we'll have 130 units of affordable housing here in Carson. This is a Village at Women's and Children's Campus, a West Care project in Las Vegas. This is 84 units of transitional housing, where clients will have on-site access to 4 programs: the Healthy Families Project, the Serenity Women's Residential Program, the Veterans Administration Women's Warrior Unit, and the Transitional Living Program for Women and Children. So those of you who are not real familiar with West Care and their mission, basically this is a transitional housing project for women and their kids to get out of whatever situation that they may have, that life has dealt them. And we're really, really proud of this particular project. This is Decatur and Rome Senior Apartments, 276 senior projects in North Las Vegas. 180 of the units are available to those at 50% AMI and under. And that's kind of a big deal, too, when we talk about what these projects do. Most of what we deal with at the Housing Division is 60% AMI, area median income, and under. With the Home Means Nevada funds, we are able to get into AMI strata that typically we can't get into because our funding is so limited. So this is one of the things that the Home Means Nevada project allows us to get to populations that we typically have a very difficult time serving. This is Marion D. Bennett. This is going to be a 46-unit senior affordable housing project through Southern Nevada Regional Housing. This is the Nevada CARES campus. So this money was provided to Washoe County, and this is literally on their CARES campus. A lot of you are familiar with this. This is also traditional on-site housing. And when we talk about housing, and for those of you who have seen, Clark County does a very nice presentation about the ladders to get out of homelessness. This is one of those first rungs on that ladder. And a lot of times people are in the congregate shelter. Maybe there's another spot to move them to on the CARES campus, but it's really, really hard to get them into the transitional space. So this is 50 units on site with Washoe County, and we're looking forward to that being opened. This is Golden Rule Senior. Again, this was a part 2 of a project, so 120 units total will be provided, 60 through Home Means Nevada, 60 through a 9% program, or I'm sorry, our 4% program. And again, 41, so over 2/3 of the units are designed for those at or below 50% AMI. This is WHA number 2. This is on the Stewart Indian Colony. And again, super unique project because as you look at this picture, these are homes. What you would typically look at homes. These are not what you typically see in a LIHTC project. And we were able to assist this project with Home Means Nevada funds. And the thing that I want to emphasize here, it's 20 units. And you say, okay, well, 20 units. This reduced the Washoe Housing Tribal Authority's wait list in half. So when we build these things, even though it's a small number, and even though in the grand scope of things, it doesn't necessarily move the needle, it moves the needle in this particular area. So we're really, really proud of that project. South Nellis permanent supportive housing. Again, populations that we can't serve. Permanent supportive housing. The cool thing about this is Ovation's first attempt at permanent supportive housing. And those of you in Southern Nevada who are familiar with the Ovation projects and how nice they are, they really have focused their energies on senior housing historically over time. This is their first foray into permanent supportive housing. And hopefully if it's successful, they'll be more willing to engage in this space. So super excited about this particular project also. Here's the Empowerment Center in Reno, just behind the Meadowood Mall. Again, supportive housing for those exiting substance abuse or the penal system. So again, housing that typically we can't do in this space. Dick Scott Manor, I've presented this before. This is for 12 units to house homeless veterans. With the Reno Housing Authority, just north of, or just right by the Reno Livestock Event Center. Village at Sage, some of you are familiar with this project. It is just down the road from the CARES campus in downtown Reno. This came to the fore with the help of the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada, the Veterans, or the VOA, Volunteers of America program, and was an old mining camp in Wyoming. And so 216 units came over. They were able to purchase 96 or additional land to move 96 units, again, of transitional housing. And again, as I mentioned previously, one of the first ladders, and actually not just a ladder, but a safety net for those who are at risk of homelessness. So now we have 312 units in downtown Reno to really help folks. Pinion Apartments. This is probably one you're familiar with as you drive to the airport. It's right on Moana, just off to the right. And super, it's just about done, and we expect it to be done shortly. What's interesting about this, we have 252 units on less than 3 acres. So the developers really tried to maximize the space and increase the density on this particular project. Ridge at Sun Valley, this is 195 units up in Sun Valley, just north of Reno. This is Duncan and Edwards. This is 80 units of affordable housing. And if you look at that, 22 units, 32 units, so over half the units at or below 50% AMI population. And you'll see that they haven't moved very far at this point, but this is one we expect to move shortly. Sunrise Ranch, a lot of you are familiar with this. This is 144 units done through an incredible collaboration with all the local jurisdictions, Clark County, Henderson, Las Vegas, and North Las Vegas in the Las Vegas Valley to serve youths aging out of foster care. So really something, again, we traditionally don't do. Super excited about this particular project. The Hawkview Apartments, is we just had a groundbreaking up there last week. It used to be a 99-unit public housing project, completely demolished, and now 199 units, again, increasing the density. Pardon me. Over half of those units are below 50% AMI, and you can see on there 25 units to serve 20% of area median income households. So again, populations, sorry, I keep repeating myself, but it's really pretty cool, some of the stuff we're able to do with the funds that were provided. 28th and Sunrise, 121 units of affordable housing, again, hitting lower income strata. Senator Joseph M. Neal Apartments. So, do good things. Maybe you'll get an apartment complex named after you. Again, 80 units below 30% area median income. This is the Eddy House, right by Renown Hospital in Reno. Transitional and supportive housing for homeless youth. And if you know the history of the Eddy House, it used to be that it was a drop-in facility, and they had to actually kick people out to the streets early in their existence. So huge that they're able to now provide case management, wraparound services, and shelter at one facility. This is Pure Vita Senior Housing, 74 units of senior housing up there by the North Las Vegas Airport. The Line Drive apartment is adjacent to the CARES facility, and again, this is 50 units, again being that stepping stone out of homelessness. This is the Blind Center, Visions Park. This is right by the old Grant Sawyer building, housing for the visually impaired. It's adjacent to the Blind Center current facilities, so their clients will no longer have to transport themselves to the campus when they need services. They can literally walk right down the street. That is basically an overview of all our new development. I wanted to feature two other projects. This is a preservation project called Trembling Leaves up in Reno. And what we're going to work for on a future slideshow is try to get you some before and after pictures so you can see the condition, because the exteriors just don't necessarily demonstrate the impact of the funds. And then the last one that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll turn it over to Christine to talk about some of the finances. This is Rail Yard Flats. Had mentioned this to this committee before. This is 15 units of affordable housing from the Reno Housing Authority for extremely low to low income populations. And this was a land issuance through Home Means Nevada. But because we had pretty favorable winter construction conditions over the past 2 years, we provided this land to the City of Sparks. City of Sparks worked with Reno Housing to set this up. We were able to actually house 15 individuals and households at extremely low income through land, and it's just great to see. So with that, I'm going to end my talking and turn it over to Christine, and she'll walk you through the next part of the presentation.
Please go ahead and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee, Christine Hess, CFO for the Housing Division, for the record. And yes, we are going to spend the money. Yes, we are spending the money. It's incredible. Thank you, Administrator Acroth, for sharing with this committee all the hard work that's happening. It's really incredible. I'm going to talk about the dollars part. The report that you have in your packet was produced as of March 31st with $207 million in expenditures. I'd just like to showcase how housing reimbursement requests are large and the progress that the investments in housing looked like. Right now, if we were to run the same report, it would show expenditures of $224 million. So that's just since March 31st. We've reimbursed an additional $17 million. Additionally, I have $5.7 million that as of yesterday had not hit dawn, so it may be in there now, and another $9.7 million in reimbursement requests with ICF, our compliance consultant, now being reviewed before they come to the division fiscal unit. So that's another $15.4 million just since, actually that's what, oh gosh, it's late in the afternoon, $32 million just since March 31st. So pretty exciting, which brings us to total expenditures for the HM&I of $239 million, or nearly 48%. So the projects are working hard. You have a lot of details here. We've tried to organize the reports in a way that would also help the committee show how we're also looking at our projects. On the report, you'll see the green color indicates that the project has fully spent their Home Means Nevada initiative funds. Remember, it doesn't mean that the project is done with a ribbon cutting. It just means that their HM&I funds are spent. So in some cases, there was a ribbon cutting. We've had a couple of those. But in many cases, the construction is still ongoing. The blue is between 50 and 100% spent. And the yellow are the projects that have spent less than 50%. And again, all of these, we are forecasting to spend 100%. And I think a great example is the Blind Center project. If you look in your packet, it shows that it spent 0% of its HM&I funding. It just hasn't come in yet for reimbursements, but it is up. You can see walls. So these projects are moving along. The funds are spent. At this point in time, we do not have any concern about funds that are not being spent. I'm going to keep my presentation brief. You have a lot of details here, and I'm also happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. I have several projects on here that are favorites for me. I could go on and on about several of them, so thank you. When you were talking about the Blind Center, I looked over at one of my colleagues and said, what a concept, putting something where someone can get access without a long bus ride, without a long car ride, without help. I mean, this is what we've been talking about on a lot of these projects. What a wonderful way to use that funding where someone can be right there. I remember that Blind Center down on Eastern from when I was a kid, so that's how long it's been there, when there was paper and pencil and not computers. And I love the West Care, that we've got women and children there together, because we know one of the things that is difficult when some women get into a particular situation and they have children, finding a safe place that they can be with kids. The Joe Neal Center is like a fabulous, not only is it a fabulous name, but it's a fabulous idea. So, I mean, every one of them, and as we drive into Reno or drive around Reno while we're up here, I see some of these projects, and you're right. What a wonderful, what a great thing for our community to be building these accessible housing units. So, anyone have any questions? Speaker Yeager, please.
Thank you so much, Chair. And I want to echo the comments that you made. I remember a number of us were here back in, I guess it was 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. But when we got this money, and the prior governor, Governor Sisolak, had this idea to set aside $500 million. And I think, as a committee, we were like, wait a second, that's a lot of money. Like, what's going to happen with it? And so working through that to be able to have this process, and most importantly, to be able to have, the money committees and IFC be able to see the progress of this. And, I think about all the money that we spent during ARPA, and I don't know that we've done anything more meaningful than this project. And, to your comments, sure, some of these projects are 20 units and we have a need in the community, and maybe it doesn't move the needle, but it moves the needle for those 20 people. And so I'm looking at the numbers up here, and I'm seeing these, come online with hundreds of units. And so I think it's just something that we can all be really proud of. I mean, this is permanently changing the community. And so first, I want to say thank you for the work that you've done, because I know this has obviously been a labor of love, but it has been a labor. And, you've come before IFC every time to update us. And so my question on that is, I was trying to kind of follow along, but, how many units do we think at the end of this process are we going to have created for Nevadans to actually be able to find housing? If you have an estimate of what that aggregate number is that we've been able to do with this money, I think that would just be really nice to have for the record.
Thank you, and thank you all for the comments. It's actually in the sheet just off the top of my head without looking at the sheet, we're creating 2,300 new units and preserving roughly, I think, just shy of 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. Steve Acroft for the record.
Yes, thank you. Christine Hess for the record. And I just want to echo, too, I was laughing. The administrator was saying, oh, another one of our favorites. I'm like, yes, they're kind of all our favorites. That's correct. I think another number I would point out that actually doesn't count the land contribution and number of units that are going to come from land, but are the number of households that this program has helped at 4,591 right now estimated. But the other component that gets lost and is really important in the work that the division is doing with your support, these units, these homes are helping more than just those households, because these units have an affordability period of at least 30 years. So remember, as people move out, that unit at below market rate still exists. It truly was and is an investment of dollars that is long-lasting from a state perspective for our portfolio, but from a Nevadan perspective, it is impacting households for generations.
And thank you. And I'll just add one more thing to that. I think we forget also that we might have, for example, 20 households, but that doesn't mean just one person moved into that household, right? It could be a whole family, or it could be a mother with a daughter, or a daughter with a grandma, or whatever, has son and father. So we're helping multiple people, not just one. So we say 20 households, but it could be 40 or 60 or 80 people that we help in that process. All right, Senator Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just a huge thank you to both of you and your teams for the work and thinking about the number of Nevadans that will be helped. I just have a question, and looking at all the projects and counting, almost 20% of these are in my district, which is fantastic. And I'm wondering, how do you determine the locations?
Steve Acroft for the record. Effectively, it was going back to 2021, a competitive process. So location wasn't necessarily factored into this. It was, what was the population going to be served? We were trying to get into lower AMI strata. We were trying to provide more supportive housing. We were trying to do the things that we historically can't do. Another consideration was, as the pandemic was hitting and the supply chain issues, and I don't want to revisit all that, but effectively as the gaps grew on some of the traditional housing projects, then those applications were also funded. So it really wasn't so much based on location as much as what the developer had planned, what population they were going to serve, their financial capacities, all of that sort of stuff that kind of rolls into the underwriting of the project.
If I may, Christine Hess for the record, Senator, such a great question as well. And I would say that we do have geographic considerations in our applications. In the case of the Home Means Nevada Initiative funds, there was also the timing. Right, so we needed quality projects that could get built and spend the funds. So that was, it loomed large in the process.
Well, if I may, Madam Chair, just thank you. And I feel fortunate that so much is with the people that I serve. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I guess one other question that I might have is there any breakdown with, say, I don't know, what percentage might be seniors versus, I don't know, veterans versus, and you don't have to have all those specifics right now, but I was thinking it would be really interesting to know, families versus veterans versus seniors versus, who we're kind of serving, if you will.
Steve Acroft for the record. We don't have that in this particular information, but we do have that information.
Okay, thank you. All right, any additional questions or comments? All right, thank you for your hard work, your labor of love, and thank you for being here today, Ms. Hess and Mr. Acroft. All right, with that, we are going to go to our final item on the agenda, and that is public comment. And so not having any in Las Vegas and not having any online, we will come right here to Carson City. Is there anybody that would like to make public comment here in Carson City? Okay, seeing none, then that is it for us today. I believe our next IFC will be June 18th. And so watch for the information on that. And thank you very much, and back to work. Thank you. We are adjourned.